Hey guys, today I'm going to be sharing a tag video, and this is the Perfect Palette 2 tag, which has been going around recently. The original one went around probably a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and I had answered a variation of that, but never answered the original one, so I just filmed that one. So I will leave that linked right here if you guys want to go check out the Perfect Palette tag. I'll also leave the My Perfect Palette tag linked here, which is the one that I originally did, which was more along the lines of picking out my favorite shades. If I were to create my perfect palette, what would I use? These are different questions, so I'm going to go through and answer these questions about some palettes that I love or maybe don't love, and my thoughts about palettes in general. So the first question is eyeliner, brush, or nothing included. I actually kind of appreciate when they have the brushes included. So like this is the Anastasia self-made palette, and it has a really great brush where it's got a blending brush here, and then it's also got like a shader brush, which is wonderful. So the Naked 2 palette also had a double-ended brush. The Naked 3 had a double-ended brush that I like. So I actually really appreciate when they include these, and I tend to reach for them. My Naked palette has a little brush in it that I use a lot when I use that palette. I'm good with those brushes. I really appreciate it, and it's nice and handy to have those there. So I appreciate that. With liners, I have more than enough liners that I don't necessarily need a liner with a palette. And it's fine if it doesn't have anything included, but I always like the brushes. The next one is naming a palette that you have hit pan on, and I have a couple. Last year, if you watched any of my Pan That Palette videos, I'd made a goal to hit pan on the Lorac Pro palette and work on using it up, so a lot of that is gone. As soon as I finish this shade, I'm going to get rid of this palette. I'm going to be done with it. But I hit a lot of pan on that one. I used up most of the shadows in that one. And then also, kind of more unintentionally, I have hit pan on a couple of shadows in the Naked palette. So I finished up Sin over here because I used it all the time. I hit pan in Toasted and Hustle. And this is just a wonderful palette. I used that one a lot when I first got into makeup, and so I hit pan on it naturally without intending to. I think I missed a question, so I'm going to go back and do that really quickly. Question number 3 was, what is your favorite Naked palette? My favorite Naked palette, I've had the 1, 2, 3, and the Naked Basics 1. I never got the Smoky palette because I knew that I wouldn't wear that. I didn't get the Naked Basics 2 because I had the 1. I honestly don't reach for the Naked 2 hardly ever. That's probably one of my least used palettes. But I do absolutely love the Naked 1 palette. I think this is a great palette. I love the colors. I used up all of Sin. I've hit pan on Toasted. I've hit pan on Hustle. I love Sidecar all over the lid as long as I don't have the crazy messy fallout. There's great crease colors for Naked and Buck. Virgin's a really nice highlight color. I probably won't use these down here, but there's just a lot of pretty shadows in this one. Sin is one of my all-time favorite eyeshadows, and I used this a ton, obviously, but I think this was a great palette. I like it a lot better for some reason than the Naked 2, but I need to reach for that one more because I don't really reach for that one. So I really love the Naked 1 palette. I think it's a wonderful palette. I like the colors of the Naked 3. Those are more my style, but there's other palettes that I like better than that palette. The next question is favorite holiday or limited edition palette. I don't do a lot of the holiday palettes, honestly. I bought the Tarte holiday palette this year, so that's the one that comes in the big sparkly box. This one here. And I haven't really used it that much. And I just don't do a lot of limited edition palettes, honestly. I have a couple, but I don't love them. I think my favorite one that came out recently is the Anastasia Self-Made palette. And so this one was fairly inexpensive. I think it was only $35. My cat is driving me absolutely insane today. He keeps moving my camera, so I'm sorry if it's moving. So this one has, like I mentioned, the brush in it that I just dropped. So this one has the double-ended brush, which is nice, and then also it has some gorgeous, gorgeous shades. Like this purple down here, this deep purple, that is beautiful. It's got like a minty color, Isla, which is beautiful. It's got a lot of great transition colors like Sherbet, and Hot Chocolate would be great in the outer crease. So it's just a beautiful palette. This one is one that I need to play with a little bit more, but it looks gorgeous, and I'm glad that I got it because it was fairly inexpensive for being a higher end brand. Alright, the next question is name a palette that you would repurchase. And honestly, I have a lot of palettes and I don't need to purchase this one anytime soon. This one I would probably repurchase. So this is the original Lorac Pro palette. It was a really great palette. I really appreciated the colors in it, and I would probably buy it again, honestly. The next one, name a shade that you wish were sold individually. So from my Lorac Pro again, my favorite ever crease color is Mauve. So I will try to find a picture of that and insert it here because I've used this one up. But that color was gorgeous. So it's a mauve color. I used it in my crease. It was matte. It was beautiful. It was one of my all-time favorite crease colors. I don't think Lorac sells any of these shadows individually, but I loved that color. It was beautiful. I'm sure I could find dupes for it, but I just really liked the formula and texture of this one. So I definitely wish that one were sold individually. The next one is pick a question from the original tag to answer, which I just did recently, but I will go back and say the best packaging I think is the Too Faced little metal tint. I think these are the best for traveling because they are nice and compact and little and thin, and they open fairly easily, but not so easily that they're probably gonna get messed up in your bag. There's a little mirror in them, which is always nice, and you can stash the cards for it here. And I just think it works really well. I just think that this palette is wonderful packaging. It's nice and compact and easy to take with you, and it's nice. The peanut butter and jelly palette just came out, which I really, really want, but I probably shouldn't buy. But I just think this is wonderful packaging, and I really like the size and the way that it feels and looks. The last one is name a palette that you would recommend to a friend. And honestly, I know that I keep going back to it, but even after using it for a year, I would still recommend the Lorac Pro one. This one I think is a great palette for beginners, and it's cheaper than the Naked palettes, which is nice. I appreciate that it's got the row of mattes and the row of shimmers. It's got great transition colors. It's got great deep colors. It's got great lid colors. You can mix them and match them. I just think this is a wonderful palette, and it's less expensive than the Naked palettes, which I appreciate. I feel like I have a lot more versatility with this than the Naked palettes, and I can play with a lot more colors. And then same thing, if you don't like these colors, if you're not a neutral person, then you can go with the Lorac Pro 2, which has more fun colors, but it's still got the mattes and the shimmers. I definitely think that these shadows are great. I think that they work really well, and that they are just nice, good quality palettes that have a lot of versatility to them. So that is it for the Perfect Palette Tag 2. I would love to hear if you guys have done this tag video. Leave me the comment down below with your video, or if you haven't done this, I would love to see your answers and let me know that you do this video. I think it's a fun way to talk about palettes that you think are really great and that you really love. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one.